Big developments this morning in Decision 2016. A new Epic MRA poll came out minutes ago. It shows the race for the White House in Michigan is getting a little closer.
Yeah, just 12 days, too, until the election. We want to bring in our political reporter, Rick Albin. He's giving us some perspective on what this new poll means now for voters here in the state.
Well, good morning, guys. What this poll really means is that what we've seen over the past 30 days is things remain relatively static. Let's take a look at some of the numbers this morning and see where we are. The new Epic MRA poll, exclusive for Wood TV and our media partners, shows this morning that you have Donald Trump at 34% and Hillary Clinton at 41%. Now, that spread of 7 points is somewhat less than we saw a month ago, but let's take that with all of the data that's included. 600 likely voters, plus or minus margin of 4%. And if you go back just 30 days and take a look at where we were at about 11 percentage points, or in that neighborhood. And at that time I said, and by the way, got some criticism for saying that it could be 11%, could be 7%. Again, remember the margin of error. So when we look at today, it could be 7%, could be 11%, could be 3%. The point is that these polls have been hovering in this area in Michigan for a while, and we haven't seen a great separation. In fact, if you look at the national numbers, we haven't seen a great separation. We're still in the neighborhood of between 5 and 6%, but the Electoral College is what's changed dramatically, and the projections for the Electoral College are greatly in favor of Secretary Clinton this morning. So these numbers in Michigan don't necessarily change anything in terms of where we have been, although because it is a smaller number, because it is starting to shrink, at least in those raw numbers, it is not impossible that we'll start seeing more circulation of candidates and surrogates, if that's possible, because because this weekend I believe we have Ben Carson, Chelsea Clinton, Tim Kaine, and oh yes, Gary Johnson, the Libertarian candidate, are all going to be in the state. So we've got about 12 days. It's going to feel about like 4 weeks because we've got all of this activity here. But these new exclusive numbers this morning do show us that at least in Michigan, there is still some competitiveness, but Secretary Clinton clearly has an advantage.
Real quick, Rick, 13% undecided. Is that unusual this close to the election?
It is a little bit unusual, and I think that reflects that people are trying to decide between two candidates that they aren't necessarily enamored with, which one they're going to go with when it comes to that major party choice. And when those break, that could make a big difference. But it also means they may not vote.
Yeah, and we actually talked with a few
Right.
of the people who took this Epic MRA poll, and they kind of shared that. They're not undecided, but they're not strong.
Yeah,
with either
that's right.
candidate.
And you'll hear from them coming up in our next half hour. But we want to talk about your forecast for the day now. Terry